Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for the 14th of November. All right, now let's just rip straight into it. We're coming into Wednesday's trading in the Asian session. Now, there's pretty good opportunities across the board in the Asian, European, and North American session. So let's just focus on what the currencies are doing and where the opportunities are. So at the moment, there's been a few random Brexit updates, I should just say. Look at the price action here on sterling. A lot of talk about a deal being done, or the text has been agreed. It saw it pop up to 130.50, then it dropped 100 points, and now it's just popped back up to 130.20. So it's still all over the place. And I'm just reading through some of the text. Looks like they've agreed to the general text. The UK Parliament now needs to pass this through the House of Commons, I think it is, and then they can come to some sort of agreement. So it's a long way from being done, but the UK officials on the face of it and the EU officials have agreed on a divorce deal. Now it just needs to be passed by the UK. So anyway, that's got euro into a little bit of a frenzy, and it's popped up above this short-term hourly resistance line up to 113.20. Now, to me, this is just a stop-loss run. Euro is still heading lower. There's nothing positive in Euro land, right? This Brexit deal is putting a little bit of downward pressure on the US dollar, and that's what's pushing, to me, euro higher. Aussie is just getting thrashed about all over the place, depending on what the equity markets are doing. And at the moment, they're sort of they're just down a little bit flat. But dollar yuan is a bit all over the shop. It doesn't know whether it's really coming or going. The Kiwi, pretty much sideways as well, but it still has a bit more of an upward bias, in my opinion, than the Aussie. Dollar yen sideways, nothing to see here. Potential chance for just a dip lower if sterling does continue to rally. Dollar Swiss, this is a real sign of what's going on in the dollar. Once again, the Swissy being the most neutral pair, it's now drifting lower. The market was trying to take it higher. It just doesn't like it above that level for whatever reason, whether the Swiss National Bank's up there or whatever it is. But anyway, it's just drifting lower. On the hourlies, on the dailies and weeklies, though, it's still moving higher. Dollar CAD, check out oil, $55. And this thing has fallen off the face of the earth. And I was saying yesterday about showing you the crude chart, technical chart. It's not looking good, and that should put further upward pressure on dollar CAD. At this stage, dollar CAD hasn't gone with it. I think that's because of the variable dollar impact, whether it's against the yuan, whether it's against the basket of currencies like Brexit, sterling, putting downward pressure on the US dollar. At this stage, to me, the US dollar is still moving higher. It's just in a period where it's trading sideways. So they get confused with an up move, down move, and just general noise in the market. So there's plenty actually happening right at the moment. Now, if I just bring you across to the to isolate the US dollar and also the yuan for that matter, you can see here on this chart the whole overall move here. You can see the US dollar is moving higher. It broke through the top of this previous resistance line around 97.10. It's now just testing that at the moment. So we are at some critical levels. As you saw in the other charts, Euro's just popped a little bit higher. Sterling's all over the place. The other currencies are drifting, and they are sort of waiting to work out where they're going. And the US dollar, to me, everything to me still signals a higher dollar. This is just a period where Brexit, positive Brexit announcement has put downward pressure on the dollar. And dollar yuan, well, who knows what the PBOC is up to. They're starting to move around a lot more in a bit more of a sideways range. To me, it's got to go higher, but working out where the technical levels are on this one is a little bit tricky. The good thing is we do have some key data out today, right? This is where you've got to focus on a number of different variables. Now, we've got the Japanese GDP numbers. Now, these aren't by any stretch, I would say, like massively important. They can impact the yen, but as you can see at the moment on the charts, dollar yen is just trading sideways, and I don't think anything on the GDP front is going to budge dollar yen. We've got some wage price index numbers in Australia. They are going to be important for the Aussie dollar, especially now that it's just drifting around all over the place. But most importantly, we're going to have for the Asian session some Chinese numbers, retail sales, industrial output, and those urban investment numbers. Now, we're still waiting to see any impact from the tariffs. At this stage, the US tariffs have not really put a dent in anything. So what we want to see see what these numbers come out, see what the impact is on the dollar yuan, the offshore yuan, and that should potentially impact the Aussie and Kiwi as well. And then once you come back into the rest of the data, right, this is where, as I said, it really kicks off. We've got we've got GDP numbers out of Germany. We've also got CPI numbers in the UK, which will probably be sidelined with the Brexit, all these Brexit announcements. We've got some key Eurozone GDP industrial production numbers, but then most importantly to me is the US CPI numbers. So this is the biggest day, right? UK, US CPI, a bunch of European numbers. It doesn't get busier, right? So then when you come across to have a look here at the overall the news that's going around, make sure you're aware of what is coming out. So let me just change the screens here so you can understand what I'm saying. Understand what's coming out and what the impact will be, right? So generally, if the news is on this page, it's old news, right? Pound soars up, the UK says Brexit deal, text is agreed. Yeah, that did. Then it dropped 100 points. Now it's back up 100 points. It's like, try and work that one out. It's too hard to work out. You're either extremely lucky or not. Now, the other key news, oil slumps to 7% to a one-year low. That's going to obviously impact dollar CAD. Brexit, yeah, we've seen enough of that. And then you've got some weird stuff on the WAM. But any news about the US trade tariffs at this point will be sidelined with the Brexit deal coming to an end, hopefully. I mean, that would be the best solution for all of us, because then we would have a clear understanding of what we need to do. Now, if I just come back to the MyFX Trading Hub, you can connect all these different areas. Okay, let me just come back here. I have a bit of trouble getting that up. So in the MyFX Trading Hub, looking at where your focus should be, right? It's all about what's coming out. We know what's going on. We've just seen the charts and what's happening. Random Brexit updates. They are continuing at the moment until it's passed by the UK House of Commons. I'm not getting excited about Brexit being over just yet. But let's focus on where the key activity is. Now, those Aussie wage data, yeah, they're important, but they're not at the top of the pops. Chinese industrial production, retail sales, make sure you keep an eye on this. It's going to be very important. And then you come down into the big, heavy hitting stuff, the UK CPI and the US CPI. And don't forget that European data in between. Now, for me, where the action is and where my focus is, it's going to be on the pairs with clear direction. Now, to me, this sort of short-term move in the US dollar has not changed my perception of what the dollar is doing. That's because the daily and weekly charts are all going up. And to me, euro, there's nothing positive in euro except potentially this Brexit deal being out of the way. But for the euro against the dollar, I'm still bearish this sucker, despite what we see at the moment. The Brexit, too hard for me to trade sterling. The Aussie is literally just floating around sideways, whereas the Kiwi, it has a sideways sort of sentiment or outlook. That's because the US and the Kiwi both have sort of like a strong upward bias at the moment as far as the fundamentals go. Technically, it's got better shape, but you know what? It's now just floating in the middle of nowhere. Technicals still up, but we still have strong US sentiment. So Kiwi's going to potentially remain sideways, where the Aussie could potentially go anywhere. This is a bit of anyone's guess. And dollar yen just drifted back into a sideways. Dollar Swiss on the daily and weekly charts, and the dollar CAD for that matter, both suggest they continue higher. But on the short-term hourly charts, they're a little bit all over the place. So that's what I'm saying. The hourly charts are the noise. You can get clearer direction from your longer-term charts to clarify, is it going up or is it going down? And that's what you really need to work out. So when we come back to the to piece it all together, I'm going to smooth these things across. When you're looking at the overall picture of the technicals, all we're looking for is the currency going up or down? And from there, we can generally work out, yes, it is. So overall, to me, Euro's still heading lower. We've got a tricky situation at the moment where stocks are being triggered. I'm not necessarily looking to get long. Sterling, too hard. Aussie, well, this is going to be important. We've got the Aussie wage price index and the Chinese data. That could be a potential trading opportunity today. Kiwi's got a bit of more of an upward bias, but keep an eye on those data releases. Sideways for dollar yen. Dollar Swiss, Now, this is still unfolding, this opportunity. As I said, the hourly charts are now moving against the daily, the longer-term charts. But that's where and that's obviously because of Euro just moving through those stop losses above 113. And that's where we are there. Dollar CAD, once again, oil moving to the downside. Dollar CAD still moving higher on the dailies and weeklies. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Now, the dollar index is back at 97. US CPI tonight. This is going to be a cracking opportunity. If the data's weak, we get a good trading opportunity through this index. If it's strong, well, then everything should bounce back. So that's where the action is going to be in that North American session. All right, guys, have a good trade day. Plenty going on. The major currency pairs at exciting levels and loads of good data. So all the very best. I'll see you in the live trade zone. Cheerio.